again, friends. It's Serena from the Guelph Civic Museum, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Museum Makers. Today we're going to make a craft inspired by our beautiful museum building. The building that the museum is located in has actually been standing here for more than 150 years. Before it was a museum, one of its main uses was as the Loretto Convent, a home for the religious sisters. And while a lot of the building has changed, we have kept some original features. If you've ever been to our Families Gallery, then you've been lucky enough to look upon the original stained glass windows of the chapel. In fact, where the Families Gallery is where the old chapel for the convent used to stand. You can also see our stained glass windows in our glass box. The windows were just too beautiful for us to put away. And now it's your chance to make a picture inspired by those wonderful windows.
What you are going to need is a piece of paper. It's better to use thicker pieces of paper, although if you only have like normal computer paper, that is perfectly fine too. It will work. You'll just have to leave it a bit longer to dry. But really, cardstock or construction paper works the best. Then you're going to also need a paintbrush and a cup with some water in it. Doesn't matter the temperature of the water. And some tissue paper bits. I am using some darker pieces of tissue paper because I find that the color bleeds better. You can see it a bit better. So I have some blues, a black, and a red. So the first thing you're going to do is take your paintbrush and you are going to just paint some water on the paper. And you want the paper to be pretty wet. So don't miss any part of it. Okay, and once your paper is nice and wet, you are just going to put the tissue paper on the paper. So, here, I'll use that one. You're gonna take the piece of tissue paper, put it where you want it to go, and kind of just put it down on the paper. Wet your paintbrush a little bit, and just paint it kind of on the paper. There we go. And you're just going to do that until you're done your painting. And you can definitely overlap the tissue paper. I find that makes it kind of like really cool at the end. You get some cool colors. There you go. Now what you want to do is put it in a nice safe place for it to dry. The longer you leave it to dry, the darker the colors will be, but I say you have to leave it for at least a half hour, so about 30 minutes. There you go. You have a beautiful piece of stained glass art once it's all dry.
Now that you've let your tissue paper stained glass picture sit for a little bit to dry, you can take off your tissue paper. Once you do that, you should see that your tissue paper bled onto your paper. It's a little hard to see in the light, but I have a lot of nice purples, some oranges, and some reds. You see that? There you go. And the darker and the longer you leave your tissue paper on there, the more vibrant your colors will be. Now you can go and show off your own beautiful stained glass tissue paper work. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Museum Makers. I hope next time you're in the museum, you're able to take another look at our beautiful stained glass windows. But until then, I hope you enjoy making more tissue paper stained glass art.